Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Machina Arcana.
Machina Arcana. Whew, that was a long one.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Alright. So this is weird, because this theme sounds like something that'd be right up my alley. Like, I love steampunk, I think it's a super cool genre, and mixing it with Cthulhu or Lovecraft is also, seems like it's a match made in heaven. Yeah. However, because of how long this game is, and how similar it is to other games, I would much rather just play those other games.
Oh, I gotcha.
Like, Arkham Horror LCG, Eldritch Horror, and...
Eldritch Horror is like the one that's over the wall.
It's like the whole map. Yeah.
I think I only played that like once or twice with you guys.
Right. But so those, and then Deep Madness.
Deep Madness
is kind of similar. I mean, Cthulhu-esque. It's not really Cthulhu-esque monsters, but still in that same vein.
It's a horde battler.
Right. Like horror themed. You know, lots of reading, a lot of little text that's coming in. So it's like I'd rather play those, because throughout the entire because in this one, like, it felt repetitive for a very long time. Every chapter that was coming out, it was just kind of like here's a little blurb of text, and this little quick event that kind of happens, but repeat doing the same thing.
It definitely has the skeleton of it wants to be modular in a way.
Right.
That it can, okay, your events, your story is that deck.
Yeah.
While everything else is, interchangeable. And they kept it vague enough in the descriptors.
Yeah.
So, like, their map tiles are very interesting in that you don't have individual tokens for every interactable space. That you customize based off of, like, a blueprint.
Right.
From a book.
Yeah.
But this one, just like, this is your plate.
Yeah.
This is what you're working with.
This is it. You just always grab a tile, and they're double-sided. Doesn't matter which side. You just flip it. And, okay, on here, there's, you're right, the treasure chests, and then, the events.
So,
but you kind of just do a lot of the same.
Yeah, and it's like, you're doing, like, you're working through these. Like, they wanted to keep it very vague. Yeah. And it's like, they're kind of letting your imagination do it, but it's like, okay, that's only so much heavy lifting there.
Or their text. I mean, the writing isn't bad, but it's just, it's a lot of nothing,
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of, I don't know if I'm using, like, platitudes right, but, it's just like, it says, okay, this is all happening. I'm just like, okay, we're moved through a couple of squares.
Right.
There's definitely a disconnect between, like, the story being read and what is actually going on
and
in
what
gameplay.
We're actually seeing. Yeah, you're right, because this is like, it's literally just the 4 tiles of not necessarily gray, but of square blocks. So you can't even imagine, like in Eldritch, for example, you can imagine you're in Tokyo, or you're in, the Amazon, and dealing with all this stuff. In Deep Space. In Deep Madness, you can imagine that you're in an underwater facility, but they're trying to be descriptors with the chapter text, and at least they give you pictures of what you're seeing, but you're not seeing that or interacting with that in any way,
right?
On the tiles. So they wanted to be like minimalistic as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not overboard with game like tokens and whatnot.
No, but on fiddly little rules, it is overboard. Like. This rule book, and at least this is also the 3rd edition, by the way. Oh. But they at least gave you a guidebook.
How old is this game?
I want to say the 1st edition came out in 2014.
Oh shit! This is an old game.
Yeah, but then this came out this year, like the 3rd edition.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can. Machina Arcana. Let's see. Yep, 2014 is when the 1st edition came out.
Okay.
But yeah, so they give you the guidebook, which is definitely something you should read through so you can at least understand. And it's not like it's complex. Like, it's relatively straightforward.
We only ran into one really big rules-like issue, and that was with my little...
the bot.
Yeah, the bot.
Yeah. But yeah, and then, like... So you're constantly really just... Okay, I'll spend my stamina, and I'll move 2, and then I'll spend 3, get an essence, and then I'll draw 2, and okay, these suck. And then that was, like, you feel like they want this to be, like, grandiose and epic, but your turns are so lame. Like, for a lot of it. Like, it's literally like, okay, I guess I'll move 4 spaces, and I can't attack anything because that requires 2 stamina. And okay.
I can definitely see their focus in this game, and what they thought like the fun would be is definitely the, we're steampunk. What's the coolest thing about steampunk? It's the gadgets and imagining your character and all this steamy nonsense.
Right.
And I do, like, their art is amazing.
Yes,
which I know.
I love the blueprint style.
I like the gear. I like that part, and they make it very easy, especially with my character.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could see him playing another character where I have to spend stamina every single time I get a thing.
Right, because in your case, you're a crafter, so you can just be like, boom, whatever I pick.
Yeah.
In my case, I could only do that with, artifacts. And unfortunately, you can only have 1 artifact equipped, so I never wanted to actively search through that deck. So if I ever wanted to equip something, I'd have to weirdly... It's like... I get what they were going for, like, but why can you all of a sudden be like, oh man, I'm gonna put this hat on, I'm gonna put this weapon in my hand, I'm gonna put these boots on for free, and I'm over here like, I don't know how to put a shirt on.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any thematic sense.
I mean, it's like, at least they have the mechanic to where it's like you just do it all at once. It's just 3, and then it's like everything you have can be moved around. So it's like if you accumulate some stuff, you can do it in one big.
And that's kind of what they're wanting you to go for.
I think they want you to hoard up so much stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, because definitely one of my frustrations with the game is they have so much shit, and it's like if you want like a full kit, you have to really dig through the deck.
Yeah.
It's like you have to like, okay, I have to keep going for clothes.
Right.
I want them to connect.
And here's where it all kind of boils down to is if that's what they're wanting you to do, you spend so many turns doing nothing, and so many turns that are boring or not exciting in any way, and you play for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to play a 4-hour game where, like, I'm like, all right, that was nothing. Because a lot of it is, okay, yeah, so 6 stamina, boom, that's immediately gone because I did 2 actions.
Yeah.
All right, now you roll. And it's a lot of this. It's a lot of constantly moving just to not actually be focused on the game.
Yeah, those are stressors that, you as the host, have to deal with.
Right.
So, I'm not dealing with all the fiddly bits, which would definitely be very frustrating.
Which, that I easily could have just, pulled them all out and leveled them up, which I didn't do. So it's like, that makes it easier. Oh, here's a level 2. Here's a level 2 stack. And let me just quickly grab it. And then... But yeah, you're constantly like, okay, so that's coming out. Let's pull this out. Oh, it's like the monsters are doing a bunch of stuff. Whereas you are like, yeah, you can eventually do some cool things if you happen to get some neat gear. Whereas in all those other games I mentioned, you have epic turns. In Arkham Horror LCG, you have epic turns. Eldritch Horror, you have a bunch of gear that you could spend, points on to actually use.
Yeah.
And Indeed Madness is the exact same way. Whenever you're because if you're gonna go for gear, everyone should be excited when you get a gear versus like, oh man, well I didn't get any augments, so I guess like I'll keep drawing. Oh, there's a lot of fucking cool stuff. There's a Reaper Scythe in here.
Oh, nice.
But at the same time, they all kind of start sounding the same. Oh, this is a 3 stamina range 2, attack 2 black, 2 white, pull 1 space. 3 stamina, attack 3 adjacent units. 3 stamina and an essence, attack 1 black, 1 white adjacent units and push them 2 spaces.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not bad.
No, the gear's definitely the strong, like the gear and the building your characters definitely they put a lot of work into this, all the different gear, and there's so much, and there's levels to it. And
right. But I had to fucking work to get all this, and keep spending a lot of my turns while you're killing and holding off. While I'm like, hold on, let me put my helmet on.
Yeah.
So
maybe if they made it cheaper or something, but 3 stamina seems like a lot to work with your whole inventory.
Yeah, and nothing gives you permanent boosts in stamina.
Yeah.
Or health or anything like that. Because they wanted it to also be difficult. But I never really felt it was difficult because of the fact that, I opened a chest, I get an essence. So an essence, in and of itself, is how we move from chapter to chapter. But it's also extra health.
And then it's like when you're only in like a strict like final battle combat, like we were, it's like we're generating more essence than we're actually taking damage.
Right.
I was a little sweaty there for a minute, but then as soon as we started calling them a little bit, and it's like, oh yeah, you kill the monsters and you fucking gain health.
Yeah. And honestly, I was just so over it. I wanted it to be done. And for the record, this game's not bad.
No.
But it naturally gets compared to the only thing that makes this unique is its gear. It not necessarily its gear itself. It's the upgrades and augments. That's what makes the thing unique. Like your Gatling gun. I mean, well, that's just cool because I haven't seen that really in anything else. But Deep Madness, you can get turrets. You know, so it's like the items themselves are replicable in all those other games I've mentioned. So whenever you are unique, but yet you have to dig through a deck and you spend a lot of turns doing nothing, for the game to be as long as it is, it drags it down. Like if this game was 2 hours, oh man, yeah, I'd be praising it because 2 hours is then this all shines a little bit more.
Was it like a how do you pick the scenarios?
You just pick one.
You just pick one. Do they have different lengths? Do they warn you?
Nope.
They don't?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, it's just based off how quickly you're able to kill monsters and gain essence and, advance through chapters.
Yeah. Because it's like, I definitely don't dislike this game.
No, I don't either.
It's definitely good. I know we're really dogging on it. But like, the art's really good.
Yeah, art's really good. It is relatively streamlined. I don't know how first and second edition was.
Because I felt relatively engaged the whole time. But yeah, there wasn't like highs and lows, I'd say.
Right.
It definitely felt...
very
static.
Very flat. The only reason, if I had played this game before I played literally any like other Cthulhu game, I'd probably be raving about it more than I am. But once again, there's those 3 other games that I just own that I'm like, I'd rather play those. You have the highs and lows with Elder Torah and with Arkham and Deep Madness. And if they're going to take as long, then at least I wasn't engaged the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, I was getting a very glossy-eyed look when I was reading those chapter things, and I was trying to put something into it. I was trying to really envision, but the fact is, these tiles just don't help me to envision what I'm trying to see.
They wanted to be able to reuse a lot of these.
Right.
Because they kept it. And that disconnect is there and from between the tiles and the story.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah, I definitely noticed that. It wasn't too, like, horrible. Like, it didn't like, throw me through a loop, but it's still, like, it's noticeable. It's like, okay, this is not kind of what we're doing thematically.
Right. And you can't really strategize in terms of movement because it's like... I even had an ability, you can move through obstacles. Oh, great! Oh, wait, because I can move diagonal, I can just hop around it, so it's the exact same.
I know. It's like, now that I've played so many orthogonal games...
It's the best way to do movement.
It really is.
Because you have to strategize. If, like, we have to get to him... Okay, crap, we're going to have to do this.
Yeah, when you move diagonals, it's like there's like no thought to your movement.
And I know diagonal movement makes thematic sense. Like, if you're in an open plane, why do I have to go this way then that way to get to it? Why can't I just cut across? I get where that's coming from, but mechanically, it's like... Yeah,
it's more accurate. I don't know. There's something to it.
Like, why have walls whenever you can just go, boop? Like, instead of because that costs 1 movement versus having to go 1, 2 to get around the wall. It would make the monsters like a lot more probably aggressive because we wouldn't be able to get to them as quickly to kill them. I will say, like, once again, this game is extremely streamlined in terms of its rules. The rulebook and all the little pieces and iconography makes it seem like it's going to be more complex than it is, but it really isn't. That is one of the strengths of the game. But what's weird is that it's so streamlined in what you do on your turn that costs stamina. You can look at it and be like, I know exactly what this does. I know how many dice I roll. Doesn't matter what I roll. I hit their target. That's 1 damage. There's no whatever. There's no weird little, actually, if they're like this, then this happens. There's none of that. And yet it's still 4 hours. So it's like disjointed. Everything is just kind of disjointed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, not that like it's not like there's like different mini games or anything. Everything is cohesive with what you're doing. But for some reason, I just could not get into this like I can with literally all the other ones. And I think it's because your turns are so boring. And so I'm not engaged in what I'm doing on my turn. I'm not getting absorbed in all the action.
Yeah, I think the issue definitely is how little we're doing on our turn and versus how much is going on in between the turn, and you as the host definitely having to handle all of that. It's like, okay, so now horror comes out, we do the horror card, fiddly number details, roll. Right. The monsters come out, monster came out.
Yep.
That's the
now-
thing.
now
Here's
I
the
find it.
monster.
Yep.
Okay, monster's out. He immediately does this.
Yeah.
So now you've set him up. He's on the board. Now he has to take his action. Well, you do the horror or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it? How did it go? It was like, okay, so monster spawn.
Yep, spawn, horror, monster
Spawn, and then we roll to see it. Yeah, spawn, roll. Okay, what monster's coming out? You fiddle to fucking put them on the board.
Yep.
Then you roll. Is there a horror? Okay, there's a horror.
Now
Read off the
let me
horror.
read this whole thing.
Now this happens to us. This is the effect. Okay,
Right.
now the monsters are taking their turns. And now we get to spend our piddly 6 stamina each.
Yep,
and
so-
then all that shit happens again.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
in terms of your actual
That's
turn,
definitely the
it's
problem.
like your turns go like that, and then then you do all that other shit,
Mm-hmm.
all for the sake of making the game difficult. And I wouldn't say this game isn't brutally hard, but it's also not easy. Like we were hovering around 1 or 2 health. There's a lot of things that just monsters come out. Oh, they just do a damage,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that. I like the fact that I had 4 health. My max is 4.
Mm-hmm.
And but because of the way you can gain essence and you can kind of block and it 4 goes a long way. Because of the fact that there is player elimination, which might also turn people off. If a character hits 0, they are removed from the game, and now these guys aren't just dumb mobs. Now I'm sitting here like, how do I want the Night Gaunt to move? You know?
Really? Just
Yeah,
full.
it would be me versus you at that point. It
was
would
a lot of advantage towards the monsters then.
right. It becomes
You get to ignore all the rules and shit?
They
or-
actually nope because they still do their thing, and then they can actually now they can interact with doors because normally instead it just takes 4 flat stamina to destroy a door. Now they can open them. What was it? They could do other stuff. It was they can destroy it still, and they can activate trap levers for 3. But yep. Players of Dead Explorers become responsible for playing that monster's turn. They form a hive mind that controls their every action. At that point, if someone's losing, if someone dies...
That's just kind of like you're already losing, so we're going to make it harder on the other players.
It's kind of like... So, it was their workaround player elimination. So, it's like, no, you're still playing. It's like, yeah, now I'm a dick to my teammate.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Pyromancy Madness and... there's another Cthulhu one, Mansions of Madness. If you want to go story-driven...
Oh, Mansions is
Like-
still pretty stellar.
So it's like, I just don't know. I can't. There's nothing here that I'm like, I want this on my shelf because it does this. Like, if you felt like a badass with all this gear, like this looks cool theoretically. Like my 4, because I have the augments and I have the upgrades, but didn't do anything for me. Like. I can resolve any active thing. This doubled my thing, but a lot of it was armor, so my isobaric battery does nothing. I can move through obstacles, doesn't matter because I can move diagonal.
Very true.
And then this one would have been cool, but I equipped it at the time, it didn't matter. But when you explore a new map tile, restore 6 stamina. Like, that's good. It's
That's
just a
fucking
free
good.
boom, and then you can
Yeah.
actually go in there.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of cool items, like really neat items, but because of just the fact that you're whenever you spend your entire turn drawing 2 cards, you can't even equip it, and you're like, yay, level 1s.
True, you can't even fucking equip them.
I know.
Unless you're that specific type or a crafter.
Like, imagine
so you'd spend 3 to crack open the chest, and then 3 to put it on.
Yeah.
And then... then it's like you gotta do fiddly monster shit
Right.
in between all this.
That's what I'm saying. You get like 2 actions a turn.
It's-
If you could innately just do other stuff, if you just had a movement, then I would take stamina off everything else. If you just had a base move, whatever your character is. Hey, Artemis can move 4. Whatever. I have max of 6 stamina, so at least I can run to a chest, open it, and equip it, versus... Nope, I have to move, and I can only... That's like, wow, a shotgun!
Throw it in the...
Shoot him! Shoot him!
Like that.
I can't.
Loaded. It's empty.
It's like fucking Resident Evil, where you have like the 6 inventory slots, but you can still pick something and be like, can't use this. It's like, I'm poisoned. Nope, serum doesn't fit. It's like, it was in your hand!
It's like...
Like, why can't you just drink it? It just fucking...
It's like, I've got an egg in my inventory. I can't equip. I can't take this giant rocket launcher.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. So, it's overly long. It doesn't shine compared to the 4 games now that I mentioned. And literally, I have a Lovecraft sleeve. Like, I love that lore. But this one, was just so disjointed that I couldn't. Normally, if you remember Deep Madness, they have those same madness and consciousness cards where you're reading text and it's like finding a blurb in a video game. And those are all just text. And I loved reading that because I was so engrossed in it. But here, it got to a point when there were so many horror cards coming out that I was like, I don't care. Let's just see what it does.
Yeah. And
I don't want to do that.
We did it once. We very rarely went for the events.
Right, because well, that's the other thing. It's like they're not event cards that you can now play. So sometimes you just you spend your entire turn running to an event space, and let's say you happen to get the one that's like this one. Like you run all the way, spend your entire stamina, run to an event spot, and you get the one that reduces monster threat by 2. And let's say it's already at 1 or 0, and you're like, I just wasted my entire turn. It's not like I can hold on to this and be like, oh, now let's play it.
Right.
So
I could do that, or I could crack open a chest.
Right. You have to get lucky and hope that what you draw from the event. So it's like they are good. It's just that they're very situational. Yeah. And some of them were like, no matter what, they're going to be beneficial. Like, oh, destroy a spawn space. Cool. But whenever you, once again, do nothing on your turn, like killing 5 cultists, like at the end of this one, it was just so tedious.
Yeah.
Like you had to drag a Gatling gun, and once you finally got set, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, the thrall runs up, equip,
unequip,
and then nope, okay, well now I can't even do that. Well, I had to run and fucking bonk him on the head and be like, sorry, I can't hit you twice, so you're aware I'm here. It's just, I wouldn't say boring, but tedious is probably
it's definitely
lackluster.
They need more of a balance between enemy turn and our turn.
Right.
Like we need more activity, or the monsters need less. I mean, make it more potent or something, but just less fiddly shit. I think
I would much rather have. Like the monsters are fine. Like in fact, I would take monsters to be harder if that meant we are badass on our turns as well, or you can set up for badass turns.
No.
But at the end of the day, kind of like with Steampunk, I have all this gear and I look like an idiot. And I feel like an idiot because I'm not doing anything. Like, it's just... I mean, Eldritch Horror probably takes about 4 hours, and I'd rather play that. Deep Madness is roughly the same.
Yeah.
So, and they're a lot more... Because you're scenario-based. So what you're doing is like, here's the scenario, here's the tiles, here's your objective based off that scenario. It's not vague tiles with a story, and they're trying to tell you what's happening and show you what you're seeing through back pictures. And so it's like, oh, that's the corridor we're in. Anyway.
How much was this game?
It's a good question.
Because since there's no miniatures, it must not
be too terrible.
I think it was. I hope it's not.
I think it was relatively cheaper, and I like standees. Like I don't mind standees at all. Let's see, was this on... I don't remember if this was on Kickstarter. I don't think it was on Kickstarter. Because this is like everything. Machina Arcana 3rd edition. It's showing like 100.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels about like...
Yeah, and that's not bad. I guess it is on...
I mean,
it was on
they did a lot of cost-saving measures. I mean, the standees.
Yeah.
And then the reusable tile boards without going with too much terrain.
Yeah, so. I mean, and every character is relatively, like, the same. Like, I don't know. I just feel like even our character abilities... Like, I never was, like, super jazzed about.
Yeah, they weren't great. I mean, like, the static stuff's kind of okay. I don't know about yours.
I don't have a static stuff. I mean, I did use mine, move up to 2 spaces towards any action space to help you out. And then, of course, they have a bunch of other characters in here, but it's just, everything is just kind of, like, subpar compared to others. And even if it wasn't, even if those games hadn't come out, like, this is still a 4-hour slog of doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't have the experience. Well, I played a lot of those games.
You've played all those other games.
That's true. That's true. We do hit a lot of Eldritch business.
Right. Like, if I was to bring literally all those games out, including this one, I'm pretty sure you'd play all of them before this one. Maybe not, but...
Yeah, I mean, I would give this one, a few more tries, definitely. I don't hate it. I do like the unique things. I like the cards, and I like its arts. But yeah, it's...
I can't sit through 4 hours of this.
No, 4 hours was a bit much.
Yeah.
Like the second map, I'm like, are we done yet?
Right? Yeah, I was like, oh, there's an end game, and I knew it was, and it's like, don't get me wrong, like, it wasn't until the very end that I was kind of like, can we, like, move this along?
Yeah.
But, yeah, 10 chapters, and really, it's 10 chapters of you just reading, because nothing else about the chapter makes it unique. It's just like, oh, hey, this one you can spend a damage to advance. Ooh!
That's true.
Whoa.
Like spending damage. Yep, you're right. It's definitely meh. This is a solid in the middle ground game.
Yep. Yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 5.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad, but it's not good either. I don't think.
I'll give it 6 for its soundtrack. It's not too bad.
It does actually have its own soundtrack.
No way.
Yeah, it does have it. It does. I forgot.
It's fucking wild.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah,
like
banging.
And I'm sure, because once again, I feel like they tried, like, with these lore books, they wanted, like, so that might bring it up. That could bring it up to a 6 if I bothered to read these. And this is stuff I would read because I do like this stuff.
Yeah, I love the books here.
But the gameplay just doesn't do it for me, which is such a shame. Because searching through and getting cool custom items and badass upgrades should feel awesome. But here's the other thing about the upgrades. This is actually a negative about these. It's like, whenever you have these together, whatever these two are, whatever, like this armor, this still requires me to spend stamina to do all these abilities. It's like, yeah, I have more options, but why doesn't, like, it should be like, this costs stamina to do this by itself. But if I combine them, then this should be one item. And this should be some badass fucking thing that this just costs me a certain number of stamina to be like, to do it all. That would be really cool. But unfortunately, no. For me to even do my pulverizer and force alternator, that takes my entire turn. So I can't even move.
Yeah.
So yeah, even that just kind of becomes lame. But I'm still going to keep it at a 5. Like, I wasn't miserable the entire time, but towards the very end, I was like, let's get this over with. And I don't want to feel that way.
Right.
So, that's our thoughts on Machina Arcana. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.